Hey, everybody. Welcome to Truth Wanted, the call-in show where we get to the truth one call at a time, whether it's supernatural, spiritual, pseudoscientific, or something completely out there. We want to hear it. So grab your phones because the show is starting right now. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Truth Wanted. I am your host, Objectively Dan. This is the live call-in show that happens every single week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time, where we talk to people about what they believe and why. And if you'd like to call us, you should do that because the lines are open now. You can call at 512-991-9242 or through your computer at tiny.cc/call TW. And if you're new around here, Truth Wanted is a product of the Atheist Community of Austin, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the promotion of atheism, critical thinking, secular humanism, and the separation of religion and government. And every single week, I'm always trying to have a special guest. This week is no different. We have Thinker joining us today. Thinker from TikTok. Hello, Thinker. Welcome
Hey, Dan.
to Truth Wanted.
Thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be back again.
Yes. And how long was it? It feels like a year ago now, right?
Was it a year ago?
Was it that
Was
long?
it that long ago?
It feels like it's been a while,
yeah,
right? Since you were on again. So what have you been up to since last time you were on the show?
TikToking.
Just TikToking.
Just
Yep, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Still busting down believers night after night, third shift.
Yeah. I like what you're doing with it because it's kind of similar to what we do here with the call-in show stuff. Except we get to mute people if we really want to. And you don't do that on your lives.
I don't do it because they cry about it. So we have the ability.
Yeah.
But then I'm rude, right? If I mute them while they're cussing me out and calling me out my name. So I just let them whine so they don't have an excuse. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Sometimes, people have different takes about how people should do calls, right? So some people are real abrupt. I like to think I give a lot of leeway, but a lot of people criticize me because they're like, "Oh, you're letting people talk too much." And it's like, well, because they're going to complain about it if I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a lose-lose situation. Sometimes.
It really is because you listen to them, right? And then you try to enact their feedback, execute it and try to make them feel comfortable. But then they're going to complain because you're doing that. So you might as well just be you because they're going to complain either way.
I don't know. It's wild. But I like, again, what you do because, well, I mean, here anybody can join in and call in if you want, but it is even easier on TikTok to just be like, oh, I'm just going to join in, and you let them and let people make fools of themselves, right? So have you had any fun conversations since last time you were on the show?
Oh my God. Last night.
Yeah.
Well, I told you. So I've literally this week, I've learned that when believers die, they're going to have spiritual bodies that look just like the flesh. Right. And
right. That's interpretation in some forms of Christianity, right? Where it's like you have a new body in heaven, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, Islam too, because I talked to
in Islam too. That's true.
There was a Muslim guy on the line last night, and he wants to die here, go to the new earth, have a spiritual body, get a spiritual wife. He gets the gift of teleportation. Then he gets one wish, and his one wish will be to come back here and be filthy rich. I said, so you want to die to get a wish to come back and be rich?
Rich.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know if Muslims believe the same thing. I know, in traditional Christianity, at least, they describe the new heaven and earth as having streets of gold and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how are you going to be rich if everybody else is rich too? You better step up.
Yeah,
I guess. Huh.
I'm trying to figure out how all of them are going to be leaders. Who are you leading if all of y'all are leaders?
Who are you trying to impress at that point? You're all dead. Why am I going to listen to you? I'm already dead.
Exactly. But they ain't dead though. That's the thing, because they're
right.
I'm trying to figure out how their souls have teeth, and I've been asking them this all week, the gnashing of teeth. They say yes. The weeping and gnashing of teeth. How your soul?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because when they're suffering, right, there's a gnashing of teeth. That's kind of a, yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I've always thought about that too, right? In a similar way. Because it's you're supposed to be in pain, right? But we know people who are born without the capacity to feel pain. And that's why they mess up their hands and stuff and all that because they put them in weird situations. So it's do those people suddenly get to learn pain? Like, how does that work? Like, do they need nerves for that? I don't know.
They
Very
grow
interesting.
pain receptors. I'm trying to figure out how
Yeah.
souls have pain receptors.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, did you hear? Have you ever read the Apocalypse of Peter, the apocryphal text?
You know, I've definitely read some apocryphal text, but I don't know if I've read that one. Remind me about that one.
So Peter's apocalyptic text of his version of hell is men are hanging upside down by their genitals on chains over fire, looking at the women that they lusted after during their life, and the women are hanging upside down by their breasts over fire by chains, like their nipples are attached to chain. This is Peter. This Jesus said, upon this rock I'm gonna build my church. Like, this is that Peter saying that this is what hell is like.
Wow. And you know what? And the worst thing is, I've been on the internet. Somebody's into that. Like, that's not going to be hell for them. You know what I mean?
I found a Christian who was into it the other night.
Oh, God. Wow. Yeah, that's really horrific. You know, and that's the apocryphal texts from the ones I've read are always like the most out there, awesome kind of stuff too. No, that's not awesome. But I'm thinking of, so there's an apocryphal text for the book of Daniel. There's got a couple extra chapters. You know about that one? Where Daniel talks to a dragon and he has to like fight a dragon. I think the dragon's name is Bel or something. Where it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not Baal. Baal's a different thing. That's New Testament. That's the New Testament thing that they. No, wait, no, that's Old Testament too, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's a dragon named Bel, Bel. I remember, and I don't know. I just like the idea that there could have been a version of the Bible where a guy talks to a dragon. That's just But anyway,
I've never read that. Now I got to go and look it up. Have you read the Pontius Pilate one where Jesus goes to Hades and he's like DC Comics down there yanking everybody up? And
that sounds awesome.
Oh my God, it is so good. Yeah.
Okay, all right, man. We got to look up some together now. We should do a show on that. That's funny. Yeah, I like a lot of Gen Z kind of types. I don't know if you noticed this, but I've seen this trend, like Gen Zs who are like getting into Christianity as like for the aesthetic. You know, they're really into like Gnostic Christian. There's like a thing with Catholicism, right? There's the Catholic trad cats, but there's also a bunch of Christian Gnosticism that's coming back because they're like, oh, you know, God's actually the bad guy and stuff, and they're like. They're taking the Apocrypha and stuff because like some of it's cool, but it's like it's purely just for vibes. Like I don't know if they have a sincere belief in God or anything. It's just like because it sounds cool, I guess. It's just a weird internet trend. Have you noticed any of that?
Yeah, a lot of them. And sometimes I think it's just so they can join the panels and have something to debate about. They just want to brag about a win. I don't think they're serious.
Yeah. I guess there's something about being a part of a group that's trending, I guess, and you want to fit in. I don't know. There's got to be some of that too, I imagine, but I don't know. All very
Have you read the Messenger Bible where like it uses Gen Z language? And I think Matthew 16, where Jesus is like, don't go get a job. Wait till I come. Self-help is no help at all. And then it says, put me in the driver's seat, but Jesus didn't swerve. And like,
no, that's not real. You're making that up. That's real?
Seriously, yes. No. But Jesus didn't swerve.
Jesus didn't swerve. Oh my God. Wow. That reminds me, like, back in the day, I had I think it was like when Snoop Dogg was like having a big what do you call it, renaissance again. It was like one of those books where they like translated everything into Snoop Dogg, everything. It was God, what was it? The Great Gatsby. It was The Great Gatsby, and it was like he looked upon his nizzle and said, I don't know, like just like that, right? Like that's what that reminds me of. You just put it some translate. I'm sure it's easier now with like ChatGPT to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, but there's a Bible for AAVE. I downloaded it the other day. Have you ever read that one?
No, wait, there's a Bible version of that. I'm not surprised. Yes. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. What do you do with that? I don't know.
Use it on TikTok. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm always fascinated by, again, you know, talking about Gen Z again, just because like everyone always said, oh, the next generation is going to be the least religious, right? But then you see all these things say, no, actually they're kind of vibing with religion a little bit, but it's like definitely not the going to church type. It's just like joining discords and like talking about weird religious ideas together. Like it's more of a fascination than it is like I don't know, a traditional sort of belief thing. It is kind of weird to see. You wouldn't expect that, but
I think it's the hunt of it all, right? Like, because they feel like they're uncovering secret knowledge that
right.
people haven't
Yes.
been. Yeah, that's what I think it is.
You're right. I think there's an excitement. It's a countercultural kind of thing, right? It's like you're in the know about something, and it's kind of the hip, cool thing to be in. Yeah, that's got to be a part of it. It's just weird that it's Christianity of all things.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think it'd be something else, like I don't know, some sort of tribal religion or something, like really countercultural. But no, it's just Christianity with a twist, I guess.
Don't give them any ideas. Like the way they keep on like redoing the rapture, we might get a new religion out of that, because this is how LDS started, I believe, or one of the religions started by the Great Disappointment, where they kept prophesying the rapture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Every rapture prediction is a great disappointment, I guess, right? But no, I know what you're talking about. There was like a specific religious sort of movement with that, I think. Yeah. Our question this week, actually, in the chat there, we're asking folks if religion will ever be replaced with AI or with God. Obviously, I think a lot of people have been talking about how people are having unhealthy relationships with AI, and there's definitely like more than one sort of AI cult out there. And no doubt, pastors and stuff are using AI to like help write their sermons and stuff, right? So like is it going to be enough where people are going to rely on AI for, I don't know, their daily life? I mean, it's already happening, right? But like, how big is that going to be? It's got to be getting bigger, right? It's got to be,
it's scary because they don't know. They actually think that the AI is having conversations with them and that is pulling information from like the internet. But there is an AI Jesus on TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, you were talking about this before the show.
Yeah. And I'm talking about thousands of people in there praying to the AI Jesus. The AI Jesus will read the Bible to them, and they're gifting AI Jesus. Like they're gifting queens, and the AI Jesus is making bank.
Yeah, it's TikTok. Probably like some guy in India just like making some AI videos, right? Like, wow.
But they don't care. So
that's wild. Yeah, I've on a different channel. We did a stream reaction to just AI videos, and I've seen a lot of Christian AI videos of like Jesus telling stories like, oh, and Jesus walked into the woods and saw a lamb and he fed the lamb, and this is like the story. Like I've seen that kind of stuff. But you're saying this is somebody who is saying, no, I am Jesus and I'm back, and like give me money and stuff. Like it's that level of grift.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's one on YouTube too. Like they don't care. They don't think it's kind of like the Bible, right? Like the Bible was the first AI for believers, if you think about it, right? Because humans wrote it, right? Believers just believe it, and they ignore the hand of the human or the mind of the human that actually wrote it. And they're like, God wrote it. God spoke to the mind of the human. And so the same thing with AI, right? Like they ignore the developers that behind it. They ignore the people who created the TikTok live. Like that person is getting the money, not this AI Jesus, right? So yeah,
you're doing some lateral thinking here. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, like I used to be Christian, and one of the most interesting parts of my deconstruction with that was looking at the history of the Bible and realizing, oh, these are books and these are written by people at different times, at different places with different ideas, and they all just kind of got conglomerated together. And we were sold that this was a narrative that all made sense, but like, that's not what the individual writers would have thought. Like they probably would have argued with each other if some of them met with each other, right? So that's kind of an interesting idea that you're putting out there.
The crazy thing, they would probably argue with us. We're like, that's not. Can I curse yet? They were probably,
you did. Yeah, I think we're past 5 minutes. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
They'd be like, that's not what the fuck I meant. Like, why are you even saying that I said that, right? Like, we'd be in arguments with them.
And you know what's crazy? And I've talked about this before, but like, it says it happens in the Bible. Like, they literally recorded Peter and Paul arguing with each other on stuff. And like, one of them hung out with Jesus. You know what I mean? He was there. Paul's just a guy. He's just a guy.
See that.
I don't know. Yeah, really weird when you look at it like that. But of course, most people, and I didn't either when I was a Christian, most people don't know the context of the individual books and stuff, where they came from and what it is. They just think it's all one big cool story, but I don't know, it's really not.
Yeah. They don't understand the word context, although it's their favorite word to use.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, they're always like, you got to look at it in context. I was obviously, so we won't talk about figures, but a recent person died, and a lot of people have been talking about their death. And somebody posted a meme saying, we never had to look up context for Mr. Rogers quotes, talking about this other person that they're quoting. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Like, if you're really a good person and you mean it, it should kind of come across as, in your text there. But
it is funny how you need the context for the God too. Like the same, you know what I'm saying? Same, yeah.
I would think that God would be a bit more clear. Right. Yeah. Like, I feel like he could have really done it if he wanted to. Didn't try. Or at least didn't care enough to try.
He doesn't care today. Like, if he did care back then, he don't give a fuck now, because he hadn't updated in 2,500 years.
That's another thing. Like, I think Jesus should have wrote it himself at least. Right. Why are we getting a bunch of other dudes to write it for him? How do we know that? Did he fact check these other writers and be like, I didn't approve this? What do you mean? I don't know. And at least do better than Apple. Apple update their phones like once a year. Jesus hadn't updated his. I'm looking for that new iOS for the Bible.
Right.
Where's that glass panel for the Bible? I want that new, that'd be great.
About some gold streets in heaven. You still come out like you Bronze Age. You still in bronze. Talking about some gold.
That's another thing too, because evangelism as a concept is kind of interesting, because they're like, we're going to rely on this group of people to kind of go out and do the job and spread the word. But it's like, you could have given people smartphones like right then and there and be like, distribute this out. And then you've developed technology to communicate to everybody, but instead people had to go on boats and stuff. They could have died. I don't know. It didn't really work for a lot of people.
What? Like, doesn't it say that he put the word on their hearts? Like, it's supposed to be a built-in programming.
That's a good point. It's like, why not just do that for everybody? I don't know. Why we got to evangelize at that point? Yeah.
Then he gave everybody a virus at the Tower of Babel. We were talking about that last night, how it says he confused the languages. Yeah. And I say he didn't give a damn about whether those people was at the top of that tower, and they looked down and said they wanted to ask for a rope so they could come down safely, and all they hear is and then like, he didn't care.
Yeah. That's true. He didn't really care about people's well-being back then. I've heard very interesting interpretations of that story. I don't know if you've heard this, but that's what. So a lot of some scholars perpetuate this idea that God at that time, a lot of early writings of the Old Testament are talking about Yahweh as a specific being within like a pantheon of beings, right? And so when the actual like coming up to heaven is a front to like the gods, like plural. It wasn't just like the singular God. And so there's a couple of verses like in the Old Testament there and in Genesis that use the word God in a different way that they use the God in other contexts, where it would refer to like a plural sense. And that kind of reads more like a Greek myth kind of, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, you angered the gods, and so they punished you for this. Like, you don't really think of the Christian God that way, at least not in like other stories. But for some reason in some of those Old Testament ones, you kind of do. He's kind of a vengeful sort of, oh, this is why humans do this. And now it hurts to be pregnant and give birth because you ate an apple. I don't know. Like, very weird how that works out. But I don't know. At least the Bible's entertaining on some level, at least when you're on our side of the fence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So with that, I need to bring Kelly in, because we need to talk about the question of the week. Last week, we asked you guys something, and Kelly is going to tell us what that was. What's going on, Kelly?
Not much. My head looks really big.
That's normal, though.
Well, my head is big. I think we all know that. So last week, I love this question from last week. Which cryptid creature would win in a fight, and why?
Mm-hmm. Good question, by the way. I like this one.
That was a good question. I really liked it. I still like my answer the best, but of course I have to say that. So our top three answers are: number 3 from Jen Fay Age. We got some good ones this week too. Yetis would win in a fight. they'd lure every other cryptid into the Himalayas and then just hide in a cave until the others froze to death.
Ooh, interesting. Sort of a Hunger Games kind of scenario where they like wait everybody out. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
right.
That's an interesting strategy.
That could work.
I guess
that would work against the Mekele Mbembe. He couldn't handle the cold.
That's
Chuck
another thing,
Gatos,
too.
one of our perpetual answer makers, and always comes up with good ones too. Has the number 2 answer with dragons would end up being the winning cryptids. As soon as they realize that English knights are now elderly politicians and scientists and musicians, they'll be coming back out of hiding.
That's true. That's true. Like when you think of knights now, it's like the Beatles, right?
Yeah,
it's
right?
like it's just famous British people, and they could come and fight them. Nah, yeah, that's a good point. Oh, he's already laughing at this
I'm
first
sorry.
one.
Because I started thinking of English knights, and I got this vision of Stephen Hawking, jousting from his wheelchair. I know. See why I started laughing? It just
Stephen Hawking jousting with dragons. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be awesome?
He'd probably have like a mech or something. He'd probably like be able to fight him with some super technology. I don't know. Pretty cool.
Of course he would. An extending lance. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And our number 1 answer from Anastasia: too many cryptids to choose from for a winner, but I know who would not win: the chupacabra. He just sucks.
Okay, all right. So the number 1 answer this week is a call out on the chupacabra. The chupacabra catching strays for some reason.
Well, he does suck. I mean, let's face it.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. I get it. I get the joke now. I didn't get the joke at first. I got the joke now. It just sucks. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for those picks, Kelly.
No, you're welcome. And before I go, the prompt for next week is, and this is a good one, really good one. The person who came up with it is a champ. If aliens landed tomorrow, who should we send as a tour guide?
So if aliens came tomorrow, who should we send as a tour guide? My answer to this one, I was thinking about this. Morgan Freeman would be a pretty good choice, right? Because like obviously the voice and stuff, right? Or Harvey Firestein is my other pick. I think with those 2 gentlemen, I think would make great tour guides for the Earth. But what do you think, Kelly?
You know what? The person I think would be the best tour guide is no longer with us. I think we could have sent Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain would be awesome. That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
He would have been great.
I like that as an intro to humanity. What about you, Thinker? You got a choice?
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
good
awesome.
Good one.
That's great. And then, what if you got into some beef with the aliens and then they make a whole track about that?
Yes.
A new tour comes out. Oh, it's awesome. We're just kind of alien haters. That's great. Good answer for that one. So yeah, leave your best answer below in the comments. See if you can top us. If aliens landed tomorrow, who should we send as tour guides? And we'll read our best answers next week. Kelly, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the end of the show.
Well, thanks for the warning.
Hopefully. I guess you could just go. I never see you again, but all right.
Have a great show.
Thank you, Kelly. And we should be getting into some calls now. So I think we are going to do that. But before we do, we have to thank the awesome patrons that help contribute to the show. Every single week, we always give a shout out to the folks on the Patreon. And so I want to thank everybody that donates to Patreon. But this week's Patron of the Week is going to be on screen right now in just a second for me to read. It's I Heart Dogs. Thank you so much, I Heart Dogs. And thank you to everybody that donates on the Patreon. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to donate, check out the description and become a patron today. And now I think it's time to talk to some people. You ready, Thinker?
I'm ready. Let's
All right.
get it done.
Let's get it done. I'm still thinking about that Kendrick Lamar bit because gosh, that'd be so funny. You hear about that Drake? They dropped that lawsuit. So anyway, no, we're not talking about rap today. You know what? I don't have enough opportunities to talk about rap, music and news on this show. And you almost gave me an opportunity there, but we should stay on topic. Let's stay on topic. All right, we're going back to the calls today. We got Daniel calling in from Canada. Daniel, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Well, I was telling your call screener that I called in last week under the screen name of Castle of Og.
Yes.
I've just been using some funny screen names just for entertainment.
I'll be honest, I didn't get the joke, and somebody had to explain it to me afterwards that it was a Monty Python thing, and I didn't know that.
Yes.
So I'm glad you're choosing a different name this week so that I don't feel dumb for not getting a Monty Python joke.
I think I've run out of funny names. I was just having a little fun, but we had the discussion about the face on Mars.
Yes,
and I contend that NASA lied about the second image when the second image came out. And
so for context, for folks who mixed last week, you called in last week saying the face on Mars, I think it's called Cydonia, that they made some sort of announcement. NASA did when it first came out back in '76, but like that, you were saying that announcement wasn't a real announcement; it was like a leak. But then they supposedly made a second announcement, and that the image was not real, like it was doctored. Actually, I forget what you said about it, to be honest with you.
But no.
Yeah.
Can I clear it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I said was that the first images came out, and people started seeing a face.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's what it was.
And then the NASA said it's just shadows and light because we have a second picture of the area of Cydonia, and there's no face to be seen. Well, at least that's what it says in this book. The book is called The Martian Enigmas. A closer
Martian
look, and
Enigmas.
It's by a guy named Mark J. Carlotto, who is a imaging processing expert. He has a PhD in electrical engineering, and he was a adjunct professor at Boston University. And he's got a good career. He's a good scientist. It's not just some crank who just writing out this just to talk about aliens on Mars. But anyways, then you found something on an astronomy site, and it had a different story. And then you guys said, I got it all wrong. This book is wrong, and that astronomy site had it 100% right. And this book is all bullshit, and I'm full of shit, right? Because I believe this. But this astronomy site was perfect, and it's just not true. That didn't prove anything. That just proves that they had one version of it, and this book has another version of it. But what I'm upset about, what I'm really upset about, we can agree to disagree, right? But the segment came out today on your website, and the title is driving me nuts. The title says, NASA lied about Mars and AI proved it. I never said anything about AI. And then the secondary title gets even worse. It says, NASA lied about the face on Mars. AI told me so. When the fuck did I say anything about AI during that conversation? I've never talked to you about AI.
I'll be honest, I did not post the video clips today. So, we have a crew that helps with making the clips and stuff. So, if it's an inaccurate title, we can certainly change that. I don't know the context of it, so I'd have to see. But, like if that's really what you're upset about, we could talk about it. You could send me an email. We can kind of correct that. But, you definitely said NASA lied. I mean, at least that part's true. Yeah. I guess, but the AI part, that's kind of what you're mad about?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I stand by my belief that NASA lied. But I never said anything about AI, especially when
this could have been an email, Daniel. We could have figured it out. You got to call me out live on the show saying my titles are wrong. Okay, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe. Again, I'll have to look at it. But yeah, this show's made by a bunch of different people. It's not just me. So you know what? I'll put a pin in it, and we can figure it out. But I can't do that live while I'm on the air. I'm not going to go here asking the crew, being like, "Hey, did you put this title up?" What do you want me to do about it right now?
Yeah, I'm not expecting you to change the title right now. I'm just saying that when I see titles like that, and the previous, and even the previous week, another segment when I called in about Armstrong's saying about true protective layers, right? Remember we talked about that. That segment had the screen, the thumbnail had a picture of Kelly giving me 2 thumbs down with this sour look on his face. And I'm wondering, what the fuck did I say that was so horrible that it prompted that type of look? I mean, do you guys?
Well, you said that NASA lied and that there's actually aliens on Mars. Like, I don't know. I don't think he was happy about that. I think he thought that was BS. You know?
But
Daniel, is that why you wanted to call me about our editorial decisions on how we do our thumbnails and titles on YouTube? Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry.
I don't want to call in anymore.
Okay, well, look, all right. Again, you know what? I'll talk with the crew about it later. And we'll see that our titles are accurate. I definitely don't want to have inaccurate titles, right? Definitely don't want to do that. And you know, like YouTube and Thinker could probably say the same thing, right? And TikTok's the same way. We post stuff to TikTok too. You know, like you don't have to be a little bit salacious. But I don't want to be untrue. I definitely don't want to be untrue in anything I say, right? So you know, well, I'll talk to them about it, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, for you know, to call in anymore, right? How does that sound? Yeah. Can I do that for you, Daniel?
Yeah, but let me make it clear that the call screeners always make it clear that if you go on air, they may make a segment about it. So they always make that clear. So I'm not faulting you guys. Like, it's your show, and I realize the risk. But like I said, I just don't like it. I don't know. The AI thing is what bothers me because I never said that.
All right. Tell you what, you know, we'll look into it, and we'll try to figure it out. Okay. All right. I don't know what you're trying to do. Call me out live on blast, but you know what? I respect it. So I'll give you that one, Daniel. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that. Can we have a different conversation that we can bring the Thinker into it? Because right now this is a, you know, you got beef with me right now, and Thinker doesn't have anything to say on the conversation.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, UFO related. There's been some interesting stories. One was an astronomer from Norway or something, who looked at all these photographic plates from like the astronomers from the 1950s.
Okay. Well, how about this? Satellites. Can we run it back a bit? Because let's talk about the face on Mars just briefly, because that's what we were talking about last time. I still want to understand your take on the situation. So you think that there were aliens that lived on Mars and built a human-like face structure at some point, but now the aliens maybe still live there, but we don't have good pictures of them, or they live underground? Like, what is the narrative? Because that really troubles me the most, I think. Is so from what I understand, it's just a rock out in space with no life on it whatsoever. But you have a different idea of what's going on. Can you explain that to me?
Okay. Well, like I sent you some of the. I think that the face on Mars is the tip of the iceberg of the anomalies that are being seen.
Okay.
When you really look at NASA photographs and you take away that orange pink color, that filter that they put everything through, and I think what that face on Mars shows is that there were two civilizations. I think it was like a humanoid race, and there's also a civilization of little beings. I think they live together. I think they live side by side.
Oh, okay. So there's two races on Mars that live side by side. You got humanoid ones and Smurfs. Not anymore.
Well,
okay.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago, someone called about that this thing about there was a nuclear war on Mars, about the isotope rate or something about Mars.
Yep.
And that's what I think. I don't know. I'm not saying nuclear war, but I think something happened. I think there was a civilization. I think it got wiped out, and what remains are these little fellas. I think they survived it.
Why do you think little people? What is the rationale for? I get like an ancient civilization and they're gone because of nuclear war, like that tracks. But why is there another one? Why do we think that's going on?
Because I think they live underground.
Oh, they live underground. Why?
Well,
Why? How do we know that?
Because I sent you a couple pictures that shows what look like little beings, and they seem to be working on the surface, and they're
right.
And in two of them, they're near. You see like holes near them that looks like where they could be coming from, and that's what I think. That's what I think it looks like. I think there's.
I've been talking a lot here, Thinker. Go ahead.
I just want to know, like the picture that says there's a bear's face on Mars. That orbiter captured the bear's face. Like, is that? Do you think bears look like that? Like you don't look at these pictures and see what's that illness that people have when they see a face and everything. What
pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
No. You don't think that this is possibly what's happening when you look at these pictures?
No, I don't, because if you look at the original two pictures, and that's the point of this book. I mean, you can look it online, by the way. This book by
I see it on Amazon. The
it's
Martian.
$40.
Yeah, it is. I see 55. That's
really?
new, I guess.
What?
Didn't he say they said that the book was full of shit for it to be?
Well, I mean, I'm spitballing here. I think it's full of shit because, it sounds like it's full of shit. I haven't read it, but it is a real book. The Martian Enigmas, The Face, Pyramids, and Other Unusual Objects on Mars by Mark J. Carlotto, written in October of 1997. So, and he, if this Amazon article is correct about him, he does have a PhD in electrical engineering, which is cool. It's not astronomy, but
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel like have you looked up the picture of the bear's face on Mars? Like, this looks like a bear you would see on Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah. Crew, can we get that picture of the bear face on Mars? Can we put that on screen? Because you're right, that does look funny. But yeah, like you're saying, I agree with you, Thinker. It's like we can get funny pictures of Mars and probably find all kinds of weird shapes and objects, right? I don't see why the Cydonia picture, the one that looks like a human face, will be any different from that.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Look at that. You can see segments of the book are shown in the. I'm not sure if it's Amazon. I looked up Carlotto, and I found another book and he's even got stuff on that new picture that was released. He's got analysis of that. He still thinks it's a face, and like I said, I think NASA's. The issue is, like, you keep asking me, why would NASA lie about it?
I mean, that literally you just read my mind. Why?
Because it would be what's the term? A paradigm shift in our civilization if we found out if that was the face, because that would mean that there was a humanoid race on that planet at some point. I don't know when.
But why lie about it? Like, what do you mean it would be a paradigm shift? Like, why lie about it?
For now, because it's connected. I think it would be connected to the whole UFO issue and the issue of whether aliens are behind it. And the whole military industrial complex, how, that's a very tricky thing. Like, Dan, you've even admitted this, that the military would want to keep things like this secret if it meant, a vast change in technology that could mean super weapons that we've never seen before, right?
This is, yes, and you're referring to this position, and I've said this before many times on the show, but I'll elucidate again for those who've never heard this. For the conspiracy types, this is the one point I always give them, right? Which is, why would our government lie about aliens? I actually think there could be reasons why. There could be international reasons, like international security reasons why, right? If you have contact with an interstellar being, right, you want to be the first to contact them so they help the US and not the Ruskies, right? Okay, so that's a reason. I think that makes sense. And also, you're right, it is a paradigm shifting thing that would affect the public would go nuts if there's like, hey, there's grays out there and stuff, right? So yeah, I could see because like other governments lie all the time. I don't see, and the US says about some things, I could see that as a point, but that by itself is not enough, right? There has to be more than just, they could, right?
What I'm asking, like, I understand why they would lie about if they were saying that they exist and they're alive, but if they're seeing some head buried in the ground that's dead on Mars. Like, why lie about that? Like, it's not like they're saying that they're talking to it and that it's like flying over us in a UFO, right? Like, why lie about saying, oh, there used to be life on Mars, but no, it died out.
That's a great point. Thinker has a great point. Why would, if it's used to be life on Mars, but I guess in your view, there still is life. They're just little tiny beings for some reason. I guess.
But I think that's just one. Again, Dan. I just think it's one aspect of it. Ufology is a whole. There's the sightings, there's abductions, there's crop circles, there's the cattle mutilations. Yeah, but there's a whole.
That's way different. That's way different. You have to say that the little people on Mars also have UFOs and are coming to Earth and doing all that stuff like that. We got to take it one claim at a time here. Like if those are the same beings or different beings, I don't know, but
I'm just saying, if they have to admit one thing, I think they'd have to admit other things that they don't want to admit. And again,
maybe
I even gave you the Brookings Institute report from the 1960s, done before the space program, as the space program was launched, where they talked about what would be the impact if we found alien life on the moon.
Yeah.
And they said that it.
Yeah.
They said,
again, I'm not debating with you whether or not there would be good reason to lie. Okay, that's not my issue. My issue is how do we know that they are lying? That's the difference, right? Like I don't understand the narrative of, oh, NASA had a photo of Mars's face that they didn't mean to release, but they did on accident, which I think is what you were saying. And then now they have to cover it up and pretend like, oh, it wasn't actually a face. It's actually just pareidolia, right? Like that's the narrative that you said is what's happened, right? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would it even be, it's because I imagine on a planet like Mars, there's going to be stuff that looks like other things. Like Thinker already pointed this out. There's a face of a bear that's on Mars. So why would it not be reasonable that it's just another thing that looks like a thing on Mars? There we go. We got the bear picture up. Look at that. That's a goofy looking bear. That's you're right. That's a Saturday morning cartoon ass bear.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yogi.
Yeah. But I just, it's a probability thing. What's the likelihood of this is just a thing that looks like a thing rather than, oh, this is actually a bigger cover up, right? I would need more to the cover-up thing than just the story of a picture, right?
Before you answer, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, Thinker.
Yeah, are you saying that NASA has already made contact with these beings on another planet, and that's what they're covering up? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Okay. They just saw it, but they're not doing anything about it. What's the idea?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I would not know.
Well, you apparently know they're hiding shit. You don't know that they made contact with them?
Yeah. Maybe they're hiding it. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's just a little confusing because we've sent stuff to Mars, right?
What?
We got a rover and shit. I saw the Martian. You know? We've sent stuff over there. So presumably they would have made contact, right?
Yeah. I guess. With the little fellas?
Yeah, with the little fellas on Mars. Yeah.
You know what? You know what something I never told you? There's something I never told you.
Okay.
There's also a picture of one of these little fellas, and they seem to be dead inside the wheel hub of the rover. Like maybe the rover ran it over.
What? The rover ran over the little fellas?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why didn't you send me that picture? I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
I'm trying to find it. It's very sad. I think it's very sad if that's true. If I'm right.
Those rovers are not moving that fast. How did they run them over?
Maybe the guy just came up on it and he tried to check it out. And imagine if you were a little fella and you see this big fucking robot coming down your, maybe you want to go and I don't know, check it out.
You're saying he's like a squirrel that ran across the road, like it's just a roadkill situation? I don't know if I buy that, man. That's
sort of. No, I think the little guy probably tried to check it out or something, and
Oh, Daniel.
I'm looking for this picture.
Daniel.
Is the picture on Google?
Hey,
Daniel?
I mean, again, I just think it's a big issue. I think there's a whole sort. Right now you have all these hearings going on in Washington and all this shit, right?
Yeah, but that's with UFOs and stuff. That's not with Mars.
What?
That's different.
Well, again, I think it is connected to Mars. I think this all connects in the big picture.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else to say or add to this, Thinker. What do you think?
I'm trying to find out. I want to see the picture of the rover running over the Smurf.
I want to see Papa Smurf stuck up in the wheel.
I see a picture where there's blue dust on Mars, and I'm wondering if that was the
blue dust. That's what's left of the Smurf.
Ran over. Yeah, like I'm seeing that picture. So.
Yeah. I don't know, Daniel. Yeah. I don't think there's little people on Mars. I don't think there we go. Crew made an edit of our little bear picture. That's great. That's good. Yeah. Those of you listening, don't have access to video. The crew has made a picture, taken the screenshot of Mars of the bear picture, and have added a bow tie and some ears, and it looked good. I like it.
Kelly, no, I'm joking.
You guys always make fun of me. You guys always ridicule me. Daniel,
you don't have to call into the show, right? I mean, you're bringing your ideas to the table, and look, I'll be honest. I am nicer to you than other people who have been on the show, right? Because in most contexts, your ideas seem a little ridiculous. It's a little silly, I think, and I think you have to accept that reality a little bit.
No, I do. I mean, I wish you guys give me credit. At least I'm calling in
I respect the fact that you're
skeptical people.
I respect the fact that you're bringing your ideas to the table, and you have to respect that I think that they're silly. I'm not going to tell you, oh, well, we're just going to think that this is okay, because it's not. It's not real, right? I don't think it's real. Okay. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, maybe this could be a possibility. I don't think that would be honest of me, right?
No, I agree. But I'm
okay.
But I'm being honest too. I'm just trying to be honest.
Okay. So why do you have a problem with me saying this is ridiculous if that's how I honestly feel about it?
No, I don't have any problem with it, but I just sometimes you make images, you kind of make fun of me. You put up some goofy alien image or stuff like that. Oh,
you're talking about little aliens that are getting run over by rovers. What do you want me to say? I don't know.
Well,
you want me to be nicer to you about it? I can.
Maybe it's not.
But it is. What do you mean? That's right? I don't know. Daniel, I'm not going to argue with you about it. You already put me on live. You put me on blast at the beginning of this show. And I'm not going to sit here and coddle you with it, man. It's it's silly stuff. It's silly. It's not, it's hard for me to take seriously, I guess. If this was real, we need to have better evidence than just, here's a picture I found on the internet one time of a thing that looks like got stuck in a rover. I need more than that, right? Okay, I don't know. I was about to make a comparison that I don't think would be appropriate for the show, but whatever. I don't know, Danny. We have other callers that want to talk to us. Is there anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, I just said I sent you images before. I kind of hoped was, instead of just looking at it for 2 seconds and making a judgment, I kind of hoped that you'd kind of, on your own time, take a look at the picture closely and, give it a few 10 minutes of your life. I know you're busy. You got a life, and you got a wife now, and good luck to your marriage. And
thank you.
I just hope you can take a few seconds, just a few minutes of your life to really examine these pictures, because I'm not just making this up. I'm not just seeing things. There are other people who agree. There are other people who agree with me, of course, but I expect the skepticism from you guys. I mean, I'm calling the atheist community of Austin, right? I mean, that's what I expect. I mean,
yeah.
You invite this topic, and I call in.
Yeah, and look, okay, if you send us pictures of the Smurf thing, I'm sorry, I'm calling it the Smurf thing if that's disrespectful. I don't know why you feel like it's disrespectful. You don't know these aliens, but if you send in pictures of the little people if you send in pictures of the little people, I don't want to say little people either, because they're not people, I guess they're aliens. But if you send pictures of the little aliens being run over by the rover, we'll look at it on the show, okay? We'll look at it on the show. I will do that, okay?
Yeah.
But you haven't sent pictures in a long time. It's been I don't know how many months, but it's been a long time since you sent in pictures.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't had much to look at. Okay, sound good?
Gotcha.
All right.
Sure.
All right, Daniel, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for calling in, and hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Wow, what a call. Thank you. What do you think about this? Because
I think you
there's a
should
lot
make
going on
edit
there.
the picture of the bear next time instead of when you do the when you clip this segment and you post it. I think the bear
should be in the thumbnail. Yeah, 100%. And then, you know, what would be even funnier is if we said like, man believed AI told them that bear, like we just lie. That would be really funny.
Before
if
you
we just
got hit over by a rover.
yeah. Like, okay, if our titles are inaccurate and are not exact quotes, that is a problem, you know, and I'll look into that. Sorry, like I don't title every single thing, right? It goes through our crew and stuff, and we have a process. So I can talk to the crew about that. But like, you can't complain about us saying the ideas are ridiculous. Like, I don't agree with that. And he backpedaled on that a little bit, but it's like, you're the one bringing it here to us to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want, I'm not going to call you and say, oh yeah, this is perfectly fine, acceptable. I'll explore it with you, but like, we got to make a judgment call at the end of the day. And from what I've heard and seen, I'm not impressed with what's been brought to the table. I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think I should be nicer to this, or what do you think?
No.
Yeah.
And then he said, like, he literally said that when he calls in, he knows what to expect, right? Like, so he's just complaining.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's what we were talking about at the beginning.
We're, you know, we, like you said, our call screeners let people know, hey, this show's live and it's recorded, and we do it for, like, this is the most ethical. We try to make a call-in show, like, seriously, like it you know, there's people that do it way worse than us, I'll tell you that. But you know, I don't know, man. I want to see the Smurfs on Mars, though. I'll tell you that.
I do too. If he said it to you, send it to me, because I want to see.
All right, I'll loop you in on that. I'll CC you. Subject, Smurfs on Mars. .jpg. That'd be awesome. But no, last time, and you missed this, but like last time he sent stuff, we did look at the images, and it just looked like a bunch of rocks, like on Mars, like taken from the Viking rover or whatever. And he was like, no, you got to look at it with a magnifying glass. Like, he literally said, we got to look at the pixels. And it's just like, what am I supposed to tell you? It doesn't look like an alien. It looks like a rock, you know? So I don't know.
Maybe on Mars, rocks are aliens.
Yeah, maybe the rock, rock beings, like golems.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a new angle. I could work with that. So I see we got some other folks who want to talk to us. Before we do that, I want to make a brief announcement that we are doing our live shows at the Free Thought Library on Sundays in Austin every week. If you go to the Atheist Community of Austin building and you want to hang out with other fans, you can check it out. Doors open at 11, and it is completely free for anybody to show up. So if you're in the Austin area, check that out. Another way to support us is by sending super chats, and we will read them on the show live, of course, as long as they are YouTube appropriate. And if you're also in the Austin area, we have a meetup to keep up with community events. You can go to tiny.cc/ACA meetup for that. And last but not least, I have to thank the awesome, amazing crew that helped make this show happen. Let's get a crew cam up. Lots of folks help make this show happen, as you can see. So I guess I'm going to have to, and some more people. Hello, we got Vern joining us here. What's up, Vern? So I guess I got to talk to you guys. Are you guys making fake titles of our clips? Do we got to review our clip policy? Because, you know, I don't like that. But anyway, with that out of the way, thank you. Let's take our next call. You ready to talk to some more people?
I am. I just want to say that I've been over here thinking, and I'm thinking about the rock bands on Mars.
Yeah, you're on that still. Yeah.
Yes. And then that, you know, the scripture in the Bible that says, if nobody praises him, if humans won't praise him, the rocks will. He was talking about the rock beings on Mars.
Right. Well, you know, golems are a Jewish monster. It's a Jewish idea. Golems are.
Oh, is it? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why Golem Heights. You ever heard of that? It's a Jewish word.
No, I didn't know that.
So it's the Jewish mysticism and like Jewish myths are really interesting. There's like a lot of monsters and stuff in like old Jewish idea, because like, you know, it's one of those things where it was like a more ancient religion before it became the religion it is today. We were talking about this earlier, where it's like there's like a sort of a polytheism element to it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like mythological creatures that kind of come into there too. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, golems are a Jewish folklore
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the more you know, the more
Yeah.
you know. So that's the kind of cryptid I want to see. I want to see more golem sightings. You never see that these
Yeah.
days. But let's get to our next caller. We have Michelle, who wants to talk to us about Noah's flood. Michelle from New York, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing, Dan and Thinker?
Hey,
Doing
Michelle,
great.
how are you?
Doing great. Tell us what you want to talk about today.
Fantastic. What's your take on this is like how I want to. I'm trying to phrase it like the way I had it before. What would you two say if I said the Bible, and I'm going to tie this into Noah's flood here, but the Bible is a sort of scientifical, sometimes historical, actual book. Not all the time. I think it definitely gets some stuff wrong. But maybe, and these are ancient things in ancient times, and it's hard for us to get perspective on the past because, well, the Library of Alexandria was burned down, so we lost all that knowledge. And maybe at one time the world and all its peoples, or some of its peoples, knew that this whole earth one time was covered in water. Because I was up hiking the Catskill Mountain Trail, and you can check that out and see how far above sea level it is. But I came across a seashell, a saltwater seashell, and further into the woods, I came across a giant mountain of coral. And I know I'm a rock hound. I know coral when I see it.
Yes. Yeah. So listen, first of all, I can't verify if coral is specifically in the Catskill Mountains. What I do know is that we've found whale bones at the top of Mount Everest, right? And creationists look at that and say, wow, doesn't that mean that the earth flooded? So how else the whales get there? No, it's because the earth is right, but the earth is billions of years old and it's gone through lots of geological changes, right? So at some point, the Himalayas were underwater, right? So it doesn't surprise me that you would find fossils of marine life or whatever, like in the Catskills. That has nothing to do with the earth flooding 6,000 years ago, because that is what the Bible says happened, right? Which is just factually not true. You asked me what my reaction is if the Bible is a historical or scientific book. I say absolutely not. It's just folklore and religious propaganda at best. I don't maybe some historical stuff.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you, Dan.
Okay.
It's folklore and it's religious mumbo jumbo. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a book that has some okay, so what if one day they proved that and I was talking to Jonathan, the call screener, who gave me a great little he talked me up, gave me a great convo. He's a great guy. Give him a raise. Anyway,
we're a volunteer organization, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Everyone, yeah. He told me that actually they discovered the theory is that the Earth was actually once covered in snow, and what if somehow this Noah's flood story was in the Bible in that time was a way of saying our ancestors knew and passed on to their several generations orally that that the whole earth was covered in water before life started here.
Okay, let me get my response, and then I want Thinker to talk because I don't want to be talking this whole time. Okay, a lot of people have this idea. What if the Bible gives this? What if it's actually a broader message? And I love this because this is only, I think, almost exclusively said by people who don't read the Bible or like haven't read this story, because this story is like very explicit in what happens. Like the God of the universe, or Yahweh, is talking to a man and his family and saying, these people are sinful and we're going to kill them, and we're going to put all the animals in a boat, and it's going to rain for 40 days, and then like your people are going to like populate the earth and stuff. Like it's very explicit in its details, and people are like, no, but it's actually like a metaphor for this. Like none of that has anything to do with like the earth being covered in snow or like long-term geologic time periods. And you want to know how I know that? It's because Christians have never interpreted that way until science has given us those answers, right? And then we retrofit scientific, discoveries into what Christianity says. It's like, oh, maybe it was talking about that. Well, if it was talking about that, then Christians would have been saying that. But they never said that until science came along and validated these ideas, right? So I don't know. I kind of reject that interpretation. But Thinker, what do you think about this?
I think even just considering a worldwide flood as scientifically accurate is ridiculous. Like, have you thought about the fact that the Bible says that the water went 27 feet or 27 cubits higher than the tallest mountain? So that would be like almost 3,000 miles above the highest mountain. Like, have you?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
Are you asking me, Thinker?
yeah.
Yeah, it gives specific measurements, like it gives like cubits or whatever on how high things were,
It says I think it says 27
Yeah, it does.
cubits above. That's like 3,000 miles above the highest mountain.
Yeah.
Is how high the water went.
I reject most of Noah's story. I reject pretty much all of it, the Noah's story. The only part I don't reject is that one point in time in the Earth's development as an oblique spheroid, the entire landmass that we know to be the sphere globe thing that we call the planet Earth was covered in water.
I'm not even sure if that's even true. I don't even know if all of the Earth was underwater. I don't know if that's. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I'm not an expert, but like, let's say that that's true, right? Like, that's not what the Bible says happened. The Bible said it rained, and then it rains for 40 days. Again, like it's very explicit in its details. Like we can't just like retrofit. Oh, maybe it's talking about this broad geological shift that happened over thousands of years. Like, but it's not what it's saying, though, right? We're talking about different ideas.
Dan, I'm sorry. Do you think that I've always, like when I was in school, I heard it taught that it was like believed that there was an asteroid that hit the Earth, and that's why all the dinosaurs died. But what if it was an asteroid storm and it caused the tidal waves to cover all the continents?
What if the Smurf people on Mars sent the asteroids and destroyed everything? I don't know. What are we going with here?
What if because in the beginning of Genesis, in the first words were the earth. The correct translation is, and the earth became without form and void. And some scholars in the Christian realm believe in the pre-Adamic earth and creation, where all the dinosaurs roamed.
Okay, you lost me because like we're we're talking about something else now.
Yeah, like I think he's trying to say that this basically that the story of Noah is going back millions of years and not just the 6,000 years. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, but why? Like, why are we talking about this?
Because it connects. We're talking about this because I was saying that maybe it wasn't just one asteroid that extinguished the dinosaurs, but it was maybe a whole meteor shower, and then that's what caused the whole Earth to become covered in water.
Do you have any evidence to back that up besides maybe it could be that? Like, are scientists saying that? Do people who study this say that?
I found a giant mountain of coral where it shouldn't fucking be.
You said you found a giant what?
Oh, he said he found some coral where it shouldn't be. So therefore, a meteor storm happened across the Earth. I'm not sure if I'm making the connection here.
Therefore, Earth covered in water entirely.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think just because you found a piece of coral in one place, that means that the entire Earth was covered in water.
It wasn't a piece. It was a whole literal giant
like.
Okay, I don't even care there was a giant thing. That's not how that works. You don't point to, if I just like, I don't know, found a piece of limestone, I don't get to say, wow, there must have been limestone all over the earth because I found it in this one place. Do you think that's good science, Michelle?
Guess what, Dan? Guess what, Dan? There is
What?
limestone all over the earth.
Well, there is limestone because a lot of the earth was underwater. That's true, right? But I'm saying, like, you know, that doesn't mean it's over the entire earth, right? That's a very different thing.
How do you know that, Dan? Dan,
How do you know that? What do you mean? What?
I will work you into. I will work you into admitting that you're an agnostic on this subject.
No, I'm pretty fucking. I don't know. Thinker, go ahead.
I'm trying to what does this like? What are you trying to prove with this story? Like, if you reject the rest of the theological aspects of the Noah story, like, what's the point? Let's say a tsunami, you know, like an asteroid did hit and the earth was underwater. Okay, now what? Like, what's the point?
We would just know more about our Earth's development. That's all.
Okay. But you don't think like
figure this stuff out.
But so Michelle, I'm confused on your position because like you obviously view the Bible as some sort of vessel for truth. It's at least telling you some true things, like maybe metaphorically. But you don't believe in God, maybe, right? Or do you believe in God? Like, how does this relate to, like, why should I care about what the Bible says? Period, right?
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't think the Bible has much to say. I mean, but it's got some good poetry in it. We'll say that.
Well, then why are we talking about what the Bible says, Michelle?
And who would have told them about this flood if you're not saying that God did?
One of my points was maybe the Hebrews said their God was responsible for the whole earth being covered with water.
Okay. So you're saying this event happened and the ancient Hebrew people somehow knew about this and interpreted it as like God, and so they wrote a whole story. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
How did they know about it then?
Yeah, because presumably this would have been more than the time period in which the Jewish people have existed, right? Like modern civilization isn't, as far as we know, too much older than about 10,000 years or so. And we're talking about events that would have been millions of years, right? Before humans. So how do we square that hole? How do we do that?
Maybe because the ancient Jews and the ancient peoples of the world would go to places and they'd find things they would find in the ocean. And they thought, oh, we'll write a flood story. Maybe the whole earth is covered with water.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting idea. You know, I could vibe with you there, right? Okay. Hey, they found some limestone somewhere and they're like, limestone, we usually find this underwater. Maybe this was underwater. Maybe the whole world was underwater. Okay. That could be an idea, but that's just somebody telling stories about the rocks that they see, right? That doesn't mean that it's true, right?
That's him telling the story about himself, because that's what he did. Like he's literally just putting himself in that position and saying that the ancient.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, about the coral. Yeah, that's true.
What?
You realize that you were saying that maybe they did what I did, and so coral and there was water everywhere.
Right.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so what are we doing here, Michelle? What's going on? Like, you know, some people told a story about some rocks they saw, maybe, and they wrote it down, and that thing became the Bible, or at least part of the Bible. Is that the conclusion that we're coming to, or?
I don't know what conclusion we should come to, Daniel.
Okay.
I don't know.
But why do you need to believe that there was a worldwide flood? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if you don't believe in God,
I don't believe in. I guess let me.
Hold on for a second. Let me get my
flood.
Can I ask my question?
Sorry, there's a delay.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out why is it so important to you that there was a worldwide flood? Like, if you don't believe in God, right? Science is not backing up that there was a worldwide flood.
Right. Or at least
Why
at a time when humans would have been around to see it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like, why do you need this to be true? This is what I don't understand. For you.
Okay, I will share that with you. Very personal to and something that's close to my heart. Have you ever, have the both of you seen A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe portraying John Nash?
Yes, I have. Have you seen
I
the
have
movie?
not.
Jennifer
It's a good
Connelly.
movie.
Yeah, and Jenna, you haven't seen that movie, Thinker?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Well, I'll just share
so-
a little bit. I'll just share a little bit of snippet. When Jonathan Nash was sitting and drinking liquor, whiskey, scotch with his friend Henry, he was talking and he said, "I have to see through to the governing dynamics. I have to come up with my original theory because that's the only way I'll ever truly matter." And for me, I want to come up with more than one thing that will cause people to remember me after I'm gone. And I know that's all vanity.
Well, there are ways to do that. I don't think it's a thing to be ashamed of to say I want to matter, right? But I do think we need to think about how we can do that, right? Because the people who do come up with the scientific facts that we know and understand today, they worked very hard to come up with those facts, right? They didn't go on a hike and say, wow, here's a piece of coral. This must have been what happened, right? There had to be a lot of research, sometimes get on the hands and knees and digging, sometimes looking under a microscope, writing a lot of papers, peer review, right? All those people had to work towards that. So I think if you want to do that, and if that's really what it comes down to, there are avenues to do that. Right. If you get the proper education to do it, you work in the proper fields, you don't even have the right education. I guarantee you, Michelle, that there are places in your area that could use your help as a research assistant, even without the education, right? And could probably train you to do that if you want to do that, But I don't think this is the way to do it.
I thought it would be so much fun to do that for a living, be an actual archaeologist.
Yeah.
And get to
Why not do it? Why not do it, Michelle? What's stopping you?
Well, I'm taking care of my mother right now.
Okay, so you got some stuff going on, but you know what? You don't have to be an archaeologist to matter or to make a difference, right? Or to contribute to science and our understanding of the world. I think if you look out there, look for volunteer opportunities, you can find ways to do that, right? But let's not make stuff up just because we need to feel like we matter, right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Let's try to do it the right way. Let's try to find stuff. Let's try to find true things for the way they are through good methods. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it would be an interesting conversation too. So.
Certainly an interesting conversation. Yeah. If that was your goal, you did it. So good job. Yeah. But listen, Michelle, we have other people that need to talk to us today. So is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we let you go?
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Well, that took a weird turn. What do you think?
Yeah. But it's interesting why people, focus on stuff like this. Like that was a really interesting reason too. Like I want to come up with an answer that nobody's been able to come up with before so that I'm remembered, right? That's interesting.
That's a very honest answer. And you know what? That's maybe a radical honesty I don't typically expect from people. I know you probably don't hear that kind of honesty.
Oh, I do.
Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
I never heard that
on TikTok Live.
I never heard somebody say, "I made this up because I want to matter." That's a new one. No,
not that.
Me.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
okay.
I thought you was asking like the type of honesty. Like I be hearing some crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
I'm sure you. I don't doubt that.
No.
That's that says something about the human psyche, isn't it? Like why did I still believe? Part of it maybe was because I was afraid of going to hell. I don't think that was all of it, but if looking back, that was probably some of it, right?
There was a lot of it for me.
Yeah.
Plus I thought I was talking to God when I was speaking in tongues.
Right. Yeah.
So
like if you think you have a divine connection, that's kind of hard to shake, right? Yeah. But
then I sit and I ask myself, like, what the fuck was I thinking to think that I was actually speaking a language?
Yeah. And you know what? Like that's why I also like spaces like ours, not to toot our own horns, but I like that we can challenge people on ideas that other people may be uncomfortable talking about because it's an uncomfortable subject sometimes, but I think that we can bring stuff out in people. Like that's probably something Michelle telling us that's an honor, honestly. I don't think Michelle would be comfortable just saying that to anybody, and for some reason they felt comfortable sharing. So I appreciate that, Michelle, at least. But go do some real science, really. Like, go help out your local scientists if you really want to contribute. And I know you got other obligations, but I'm sure there's ways. With that, let's move on. Let's talk to Dwayne, who wants to talk to us from South Dakota. Dwayne wants to talk to us about the truth of the Bible not being acknowledged. Dwayne, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Good afternoon, you fine people. My name is Dwayne. And yes, I did want to speak with you guys about the truth of the Bible, specifically the Beatitudes that Jesus teaches, and how if we follow that truth, we will be better as
Beatitudes?
The Beatitudes.
Are you saying Beatitudes?
I've never heard of Beatitudes. I've always heard Beatitudes, but yeah. I don't know the Beatitudes, I don't know, like, how much you want to dive into that, but I guess we can.
Absolutely. I feel like if you, like I said earlier, if you follow those teachings, if everyone in the world participated, then we would be able as a people to transcend sin and really live according to God's purpose. Being merciful,
maybe
being pure in heart, being a peacemaker.
Yeah, I mean, so some of those ideas are kind of good, and he's just saying it's a list of him saying blessed, right? So like you said, blessed be the peacemaker. Let's see, I gotta Google what the other ones are. I can't remember.
Let's see, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the hunger and thirst. Just basically, blessed are those who are suffering. Like, if you're suffering, you're blessed, but you're really not blessed because I'm gaslighting you. Is this what you're talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, if everyone is meek, right? If everyone is merciful, if everyone is pure of heart, then who would suffer?
Everyone?
Yeah, I mean, if maybe I don't know. The thing is, like all these people are blessed because they're like righteous under God and stuff, right? Like that's the part I think we would have trouble with. Because he's saying that all these people are cool with God and that they get their blessings and they're the ones that inherit the earth and stuff. And that's the part that I wouldn't vibe with. If we're just saying, hey, just be a good person, I can vibe with that. But there's a lot of other strings that are attached to that. You know what I mean?
I guess, like, when you say if everyone is meek, like who would suffer, it literally says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. But the God, like, righteousness to the God isn't necessarily doing the right thing, right?
That's true.
And so, like, if the God tells you to go and like enslave a whole group of people, you're going to do it because you thirst and hunger after righteousness. So everybody, like, more people would suffer under that, right?
Okay, and just a question for you: do you think that like fasting would be something that is bad for humanity?
Fasting,
I mean, potentially. It depends on the person. Not everybody can do fasting. I think fasting is a good thing, but like, what does that have to do with anything, honestly?
Well, see, I interpret that as saying that blessed are those who fast and seek the word of the Lord.
Okay, well, I have the verse here. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's talking about food. I think that's talking about like righteousness.
Like just like obeying the God,
right?
Denying
your flesh. Exactly.
No, that's living just and upright. That's like obeying the God.
Yeah, I don't think he's literally talking about food.
Well, I mean, God does not say thou shalt hunger, right? So, as I said, I'm open to you guys having your own interpretation. We all know that interpretation is very important. But yes, I interpret that as to say, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for the things of the flesh, but deny those things for the righteousness of God, for they will be filled.
Okay. But like, look at the end of this. I have it here. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you, right? So like, these lists of things could be nice, but this is all built on this framework of Christianity, right? I have to know if a God is real. I have to know if Jesus is the son of that God, and we should care about what he says, and if there's a heaven and stuff, right? Like, otherwise, this is just a list of a guy saying, hey, we should do some nice things, right? And Jesus isn't the first person, nor is he the last to like have a list like this. So
Have you ever heard of the saying, an eye for an eye makes the world go blind?
yes, I have.
Right. What if instead of taking an eye for an eye, everyone was merciful and meek? The world would seem much better.
It's funny you say that, because an eye for an eye literally comes from the Bible, first of all. So I don't know if you know that, but that's where it originates from. It's Old Testament law, right? So, they were already on that. It gets, reinterpreted now. But like, again,
What?
yeah, say it again. What?
I thought that comes from the Code of Hammurabi.
You're right. It does come from the Code of Hammurabi, but the Bible takes it from the Code of Hammurabi.
But also, like, when you say everybody be merciful, like, mercy requires you to like not punish somebody for doing wrong, right? That means that there's somebody still doing wrong.
Right. Mercy is not justice, right? That it's not the same thing. So, there's an argument to be made that that's not appropriate.
You're basically saying, this is why I don't like the whole turn the other cheek. I think your Jesus was creating pacifists. Like, you're saying to lie down and let your enemy just fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying, and never ever pursue justice.
I think that that's what you might call small-scale thinking. As I stated previously in my introduction, I think that if the whole world adhered to these teachings, there would be no suffering.
Well,
the whole world adhere to blessed are those who mourn, they shall be comforted. So everybody just sitting around fucking crying so your Jesus can come to them and hug them, because that's the only time that he said he gonna hug your ass is when you crying. So everybody just sitting around somber, poor in spirit.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, maybe you're right. Maybe if everybody acted this way, that would make the world a better place. Okay, so what? Does that mean that Christianity is true? I don't think so, right? A guy can say, hey, we should do some stuff, and it would make the world better, and everything else about his life could still be bullshit, right? Like, I'm sure there's some cult leaders out there that have said some really great things about how people should act, but that doesn't mean the rest, I should follow the cult. You know what I mean?
Well, in all actuality, I am not saying that everyone needs to be a Christian, but what I am positing is that if we all followed the teachings found specifically in Matthew 5, and honestly, any teaching of Jesus, that the world would be a better place. I think that Jesus took the time to speak to the things that we as a people need to adhere to.
I'm a little confused, because I don't see that these things will make the world a better place, because it's literally saying if you are somber, right, mourning, peacemakers, you're being persecuted, right, then that makes the world a better place. Like, literally, Christians see themselves as these righteous sufferers already, and the world is not a better place. Like, the only thing on here that a person could say is pure in heart. A person that's pure in heart, and peacemakers. But everything else, like, what? I don't see what you see in this.
If I were having a conversation with you and you decided to give in to your wiles and haul off and punch me, and I offered you the next cheek, would that make you more inclined to assault me or less inclined?
Okay.
I don't know. It depends on what you did.
Let's turn this around. Let's say a thinker goes and assaults a friend of yours or a family member. Are you saying you shouldn't stop them from doing that? You should just let her do that?
I'm saying that radical love.
Let's be explicit. Thinkers coming to your house and they're going to mess up your family members. Are you going to stop them?
I believe that every choice is made by the individual. That person will have to make that decision on their own. But okay. Let
me make this clear. I'm asking you, caller. Somebody is going to your house and they're going to mess up your family members. You think it's the right thing to do nothing about it and turn the other cheek?
I think I will walk in the way that Jesus laid out.
What does that mean?
I will be meek. I will be merciful. I will be,
you're going to let him do it.
With Jesus as he. Well, the thing about it is we all have free will. And for me to impose on someone else's free will would be playing God.
No. See, I think you would be expressing your free will. Your will is to stop that other person's will, right? Like that's terrible, right? That doesn't make for a good society, I think. If we're just like, well, I guess I'd be imposing. I guess this guy should kill my mom because, I'd be imposing on his free will. That doesn't make a good society, right? I don't think that's a very just society.
And that's the way that you see your God too, right? Like your God is respecting your free will so much that he's just letting y'all get your ass whooped, and then also on the other side letting y'all kill people.
Yeah.
Well, I've personally never received the word to kill somebody for my God, and I personally think that he gives such commands.
He does. Have you read the Bible? Have you actually read the Bible? Have you read like any chapter in the Old Testament? You know how many times God has said to wipe other people out? Right? I mean, God's done it himself sometimes.
When we look at that, we have to look at the why.
Okay. Wait,
you said he didn't.
You said it never
commands.
happened. Oh, but it has happened, but we have to look at the why now. Right? There's a little bit of a change of story.
So, okay, so I understand that there are certain places in time that God exacted his justice on the world.
So that wasn't a violation of free will.
Of his followers.
Well, I just want to be clear. So that wasn't a violation of free will.
Well, they exercised their free will to be in a position where God.
Okay. Well, again, if somebody's coming to my house to mess up my mom, I'm going to exercise my free will and stop them.
Exactly.
I don't think so. That kind of throws that part of the Beatitudes out a little bit, right?
That's what I was saying. Like that whole turn the other cheek and blessed all those that mourn and no. Like that, everybody in this list is fucking somber and mourning, and like they're getting their asses handed to them because Jesus told them to, and Jesus says this is how you're going to inherit the kingdom of God.
Right, and let's be clear, we're not just talking about metaphor here, because that's literally what happened to Jesus. If you believe the account, like he literally let them take him and kill him, right? Yeah. So like Christians are literally expected to do the same thing, and it historically actually have in some circumstances. So I don't think that's the best path forward, personally.
Well, I mean, you guys asked for the truth. The name of the show is Truth Wanted.
That's right.
I wanted to show you that the truth is that if you follow these attitudes, right, if everybody in the world stopped living for flesh and started living for the spirit and started following these attitudes, then we would not have any of the problems that we see in this world today. Jesus taught us to take care of those who are in need and sick, and he told us not to value the things of the world. And I think that that's very important.
Jesus actually said, hey, don't take care of the poor. You should follow me instead. Right? There's a story of a man mourning and burying his father, and Jesus says, no, actually, come follow me instead. Right? So there's one counterexample to this, but two, again, Dwayne, I really hope this doesn't happen. I don't. But if somebody comes to mess up your family, I hope you stop them, right? And if somebody comes for you, I hope that you defend yourself. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to not have to defend yourself because you think that this is the right thing to do because Jesus said so, right? I really think these ideas, some of them may be good, but I think some of them are a little bit problematic. I don't think you should buy them wholesale, which is what you're selling me here.
I appreciate and understand your concern for my safety, but just as Jesus was able to call on the angels to help him in a time of need, I would also be able to call upon the forces of heaven to help me.
Really? You're going to be calling upon the forces of heaven? Wow. That's interesting, Dwayne.
Absolutely.
Okay. I wish other victims of crime were able to do that. I'm glad you have that ability. I'll say that much.
As long as you know the true name of the Father and the Son and the Ruach HaKodesh, you will be able to call upon the forces of heaven.
The what did you? What?
I didn't catch that part. But listen, Dwayne, I don't know. We're kind of out of time for this call. We heard your point. We disagreed. It sounds like you don't care that we disagreed or really addressed anything that we had to say about it. So you have anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope that you guys are in good health.
All right. Yeah. I hope you're in good health too, Dwayne. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Don't submit too much.
Don't submit too much. Yeah. Yes. What an interesting call. I don't know. What do you think about that one?
I don't know. It's not like he said real dish.
Yeah, I heard like horseradish. that was my take. I guess I'll my summary is the Beatitudes maybe has a few good things. I'm not going to say it's all bad, but like you shouldn't just accept it all as true wholesale, and especially not the underlying implications here, which is you do all these things and you get to go to heaven, right? And there's all this other stuff attached to it, right? So that's what I'm stuck on.
I like being a peacemaker is good when you know it's necessary, but it kind of gives the idea that you know Jesus is against fighting back, right?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily, I think when people read this and they see blessed are the poor in spirit, that they think that's Jesus saying, take care of the poor. Yeah. And it's not. Like if you're poor in spirit, like you're brokenhearted, you're downtrodden, right? And that's, I don't necessarily see this list. This is the pacifist list for me. Like this is the list that Jesus uses to turn people into pacifists that allow them to allow people who have more narcissistic and abusive personalities to actually trot on people who are trying to live. I don't necessarily.
I agree. I had to look at the verse here. Yeah, this is in Matthew 26:11. He says, "The poor will always be with you, but you will not always have me." Right. And he's talking about this idea that, wait, I'm more important than helping the poor people right now.
Yeah.
Following and lecturing me. Like, the religion of Jesus is not just about do nice things for me. It's also, at least in some part, like worshiping the literal figure of Jesus. Yeah. And sometimes people like to separate that.
Is that's the one where Judas was like, man, why are you putting $300 worth of oil, letting her put that $300 worth of oil on your body? And he's like, oh, because I'm worth it.
I think that's literally that chapter. Yeah. Where because like they're washing him and doing all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That's where that comes from. Because
like we can feed the poor with that. And he's like, the poor will be with you forever, but not me. Like not they can eat next week.
I'm your leader.
What? Yeah.
Do things for me. I really think the most radical change I've had since a Christian is viewing Jesus as a cult leader. Right. You say that to Christians and they think, what? How could you say that? But like that, if you read between the lines and like, it's kind of there in the text, you really do see it. Like we are really kind of out of time, but like we have another call that is just so, it looks like it's really interesting. You want to take one more? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do one. And I'm going to talk to, we got Jim calling in from Texas. Jim, we are towards the end of tonight's program. Okay. So I'm being serious here. We don't have a whole lot of time. Okay. But we'll let you talk here because I want to hear what you have to say. The call screener says that you say that you do have evidence for God, and I don't know, in like the human body, I guess. So let's hear what you have to say. Go ahead, Jim.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just thinking about it, and why atheists don't believe in God. And it says in His Word that we know that there is a God by the things that He's made. So I got to thinking about a body, and in a body, it's composed of approximately 130 trillion cells. And each cell has 100 trillion atoms that make it up. And in the DNA of those cells, that they say the coil of that, each one of them is around 6 foot long. And that if you extend that, that would like go to the moon and back over 150,000 times. Now that's hard for me to believe, that I can't, my mind can't grasp that just happened by chance. And I think what I feel like it takes more faith to believe that happened by chance than a God that made it, and I believe that we're both by faith, like in biogenesis, the beginning of life, that atheists, they don't know what started, and Christians will just say, well, God was the creator of heaven and earth. So yeah, I guess that's a start. Okay.
All right, Jim, I'm gonna say something here, and this is gonna sound really mean, and I really don't mean it in a mean way. Okay. So I think it sounds unbelievable to you because you don't understand it. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't completely understand it either. I'm not a biologist, right? We have Forrest Valkai, who is a biologist and is studying to get his PhD right now on the show, who talks a lot about this stuff and about evolution, about DNA and how these things work. But I think people who actually do study this stuff every day can give better explanations as to how cells work, how they duplicate, right? How they undergo mitosis and do all these things in the body. That would make sense, right, as a more natural explanation than just us throwing our hands up in the air and saying, well, I don't understand it, so it must be God, right? And I'm not saying biologists can tell you the answers to everything, right? There's a lot of questions about how life on Earth originated, right? What were the exact mechanics of abiogenesis, or if it came from Earth? There's other ideas like panspermia, right, where life comes from other planets. Obviously, they had to start from somewhere too, right? But the point is, we don't have all the answers, but we have a lot of answers, and that's kind of interesting. So I get this idea of, wow, this all seems kind of fantastical, but I also think evolution provides a lot of explanatory power for a lot of things that we see on Earth and how life has developed. So, I don't think it necessarily points to the Christian God, or really any God, more so, just by saying that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Two things. James Tour. Have you ever heard of him? James Tour.
James Tour? I don't think so.
He's look him up. He's a chemist, and he said there's no way that the chemistry could started the first cell. So there are others on the other side, scientists, that are taking another view. And
Jim, do you think most chemists feel that way? Because that's the thing. We were just talking to right. And we were just a couple calls earlier. We were talking to a guy who apparently has a PhD in electrical engineering, who thinks that NASA may have different ideas about the face on Mars, right? There's lots of people who have PhDs and stuff and have kooky opinions on things, right? I don't know if that's the best way to look at things,
Well, I mean, your other person there is a thinker. So I'm thinking it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just to me. And
okay.
Just, I know you got to go, but the point you made out about that other caller before me, and you said that they anointed Jesus or whatever, and what Jesus did, he washed their feet. He said, do likewise. Said he was a servant. If I'm your Lord, I want you to go out and help other people.
He didn't spend money on that.
Yeah.
We're talking about him, helping the poor or taking from the poor to anoint his body, because he said that he's more worthy than that. Right.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus and his followers did take donations from people to live out and do their things, right?
Jesus had women following him to pay for his stuff. I honestly think he was pimping. But
well, yeah, it's a whole other thing. But yeah.
But I just wanted to ask, you're saying that it takes more faith to believe I honestly don't know I cannot explain or articulate what you explained in the beginning, but you said it takes more faith for an atheist to believe that than it does to have a belief that a God did a thing. Is that what I'm understanding? What you are saying is the proof of your God?
That we are God? That there is.
Oh, you were saying that part of the evidence of why you believe in God is because there's a passage in the Bible that says that atheists, are going to lack faith, right? No. Like you referenced that at the beginning, and thinkers just asking about that.
Well, it says a fool says in his heart there is no God.
Right.
So that's what God. You know that scripture. So
yes.
But I just think you look at the whole creation, that there must have been a creator, a designer of it all. That's just another.
I don't know, but you said it takes more faith to believe in abiogenesis than it does to believe that your God created it. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. That this was an accident. Everything in the universe was an accident. It by chance it happened.
And that's what you're saying is the proof of your God? When you said you have proof of God, is that what you're saying?
I think he's just giving his opinion. I think he's just saying,
that's just a thought. I mean, there's more reasons. I mean, the claims that Jesus made that he rose from the dead. Well, nobody's ever risen from the dead. And that's why we listen to him. And just to finish, I mean, the man who wrote the Gospel of John and Revelation, the thing he ended up by saying was, he said, truly, Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book, but these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name. So I mean, that sums up the gospel, I believe, too, that we have to have faith. And there's a difference between evidence and proof. You'll have a trial and people give evidence, and all that. Well, that's just a part. I'm not saying that's complete proof.
Okay.
But it okay.
Yeah, I hear you, Jim. I hear what you're saying. But I wonder how much, for example, about the science of anthropology. Do you believe there are other beings that preceded Homo sapiens? Do you think that we didn't evolve? We were created exactly as we were? Or do you think that we evolved from other species?
I don't. And listen, I'm sorry. I'm not a scientist or, an anthropologist.
And I respect that.
So yes, sir. Yeah, I don't.
I get you.
Yes, sir.
But we're talking about evidence, right? Right. And I think you think that evidence is a good thing. And the truth is there's a lot of evidence that we did come from other beings, right? You don't have to believe in abiogenesis to believe that we came from other animals, right? Those are actually two separate ideas. But if we understand enough about the mechanics of evolution and the fossils that we found and the record that it keeps and shows us in science, then it does point to that picture that we at least came from something else, right? And that kind of undermines this idea of intention in our creation, right? You use the word accident. I think people adapted to their circumstances and their environment and how we came to be, that there were laws at work, just laws of nature, right? Forces of nature that happen. You can call that an accident, but it seems to me that would be more reasonable than to just say, well, we came on the scene and it just so happens that all these other apes also came on the scene just before us and had similar characteristics. And some of them had the capacity of speech and some of them had the capacity of sewing clothes and stuff, but they're not human beings. They're something else, right? That paints a more complicated picture, I think. So I don't know, but Yeah, I'm just putting some thoughts out there, Jim. There might be some other explanations that could might surprise you as to how we got here, and not just talking about the abiogenesis thing. But hey, like I said, we're getting close to the end here. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Yeah. I would like to ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Okay, and like I would say atheists are arguing against God for the reason that if there is a God, that we are going to stand before him, give an account one day.
Mm-hmm.
If there isn't, we won't have to. And so if there's not, I can live like I want to. I can, sexual, whatever, I can do what I want to do, and I'm the God of my life. And isn't that a basic premise that atheists have? It seems like
what is it that you think atheists are doing that you're not? Like, you think we're just out here killing people, sexing it up? What is it that you think an atheist life is that's different from yours? And if you're saying that the only reason why you're not killing people and sexing it up, then you're not a good person anyway. Like, you're not doing it because that's who you are. You're doing it because you want to go to heaven. Yeah.
Right. Well, the reason is I'm not saying you're doing that. I pray you're not. I mean, you sound like really great people, but to me, I see that there's darkness in my life. There's sin according to what God said, and I want forgiveness of that, and that's why He shed His blood for me.
But that's not what you just said, though.
And wait a minute. And that eventually, at the end, I will have eternal life, not only in heaven, but right now. And what, they say, why do you believe? I would say, to me, there's a peace that passes understanding, that a peace in my heart, that when I do to stand before him, that I will be justified by what Jesus did. I guess that boils down. Now, you can believe that or not,
That's fine.
But that's the message, isn't it? Isn't it the Christian message?
Jim, let me leave you on this note, because we do got to go. Okay. First of all, it's very unfortunate you called at the end of the show. I would love to have a much longer conversation with you. I would love it if you could please try to if you could make time to call back again. I will absolutely pick you up first thing. Okay. Because I think we would have a great conversation together. But I'll leave you with this. What you're talking about with atheists, that's an unfortunate prejudice that we get faced with, that we don't like God, right? We have some sort of problem with him and his judgment and his rules. And so we're kind of doing this out of spite. We're doing it because we want to sin or do our own things. And the truth is, the reason why I'm atheist and why thinkers and atheists and why other people are atheists is because we just can't accept these ideas as true, right? The sin thing doesn't matter as much, right? And here's another thing, Jim. Let's say there is a God. I think he's going to have to look at my life and evaluate whether I'm a good person or not, despite my belief in him. And I think he'd be able to do that. And I think he would be able to say that I was a good person, or at least I would try to be. Maybe it's not all the ways that he would think it's a good person, but like it or not, there's actually a lot of atheists that do live by their own moral codes. And it's for different reasons than what God lays out, right? But, a lot of us really do try to do our best every day. And I'm not trying to run away from a God because I want to sin. I really want to know what's true and what's not true, right? And I don't think the Christian God at this point in my life really makes sense to me as an idea, and for most of us, right, that do identify as atheists. But Jim, I want to say thank you so much for calling in. I got to let you go now. We got to end the show, but I sincerely hope you call again, because I think we would have a great longer conversation. You look like you want to say something to that. What do you want to say?
It's the whole you just want to sin thing. And then when I point out, you're not doing anything different than what you're doing. And just, it's very hypocritical for them to always point the finger at us, right? But if your God is going to send somebody to hell for not believing, while they are not the ones out here killing, but the killer gets to go to heaven, I don't want to be anywhere near your God. I don't it just
That's a good point as well. We're put under this moral lens here, I think very uncharitably, because we don't live up to Christian standards of right and wrong, when personally, I don't think Christian standards of right and wrong are good enough. I actually think I try to hold myself to a higher standard. I'll give you an example of that. I'm a vegan. I've been vegan for the last 5 years, and I do it for personal, moral reasons. And you know what? Like Christianity doesn't teach that at all. Christianity doesn't care about what you do to animals, right? Now, that's not a standard that everybody follows, but the point is, like, I came to that and I don't need God for that, right? I can find my own way through that. And lots of atheists find their own morality in their own ways. Does it come to a head with other people because we don't have like a big objective system? Sure, but we never had it anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Christians didn't have this problem or haven't had this problem. They fight about stuff all the time about what's right and wrong. So, you know,
Yeah, I agree.
but on that note, we are at the end of the show, folks. We are over time. We got to wrap things up. I want to thank Thinker for coming back on the pod. Thanks so much, Thinker. Great
Thank
show.
you for having me.
Absolutely. If people want to find you, where should they go?
At Ingrowth on TikTok. And Arc Thinker on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Go check that out if you want to look at Thinker's content. And let's bring Kelly back on stage really quick to help us end this show. What's going on, Kelly?
Hey, Dan, you know what? I wrote a bunch of notes about the show. I know we're going over. I'm going to just ignore most of them, but I got to say 2 things, man. I have to.
Okay.
The rover moves at 0.1 mile an hour. So think of that scene from Austin Powers with the guy getting run over by the steamroller. All right.
Hey, but Kelly, how fast do you think Smurfs move? They probably don't move that fast.
Yeah, but you don't have to run away from it. You just got to step off to the side, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got a good point. All right, good job.
And the other thing was for Michelle. Michelle, I want you to go look up plate tectonics.
Yeah.
And Dan, we do think about 4 billion years ago, the Earth was covered in water. However, the oldest fossils of coral are about 500 million years old. So they don't correspond to the same time that the Earth was covered in water. So that's another thing that was kind of wrong with Michelle's theory there, or idea. I shouldn't call it a theory.
Thank you, geologist Kelly, for coming in. You know, we should have brought you in on that one. So thanks for the note.
Michelle, if you are still watching the show, look up plate tectonics. It'll explain how the coral got there. And with that, the only other thing I need to do is remind everybody what the question is for next week. And that is, if aliens landed tomorrow, who should we send as a tour guide?
Yes. Leave your comment below, and we will get to it next week and read our top 3 answers. I want to give, again, a special thank you to the crew for doing the show today, and another thank you to Thinker. This was a great episode. I loved it. Folks, that is it for today. It's all the time we got. This has been another awesome episode of Truth Wanted. I am Objectively Dan. Remember to always keep wanting the truth, and I'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Watch the non-profits and join the hosts in the live chat. Visit tiny.cc/ytnp.